Hi, buddy. How's your day?
Chaotic. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I woke up great energy, and then I kind of died down. But I've been fighting this bug. It's been going up and down for like 2 weeks, like every other day.
Physical or mental?
Physical.
I
just
okay.
kind
Well,
of feel
better.
like, bleh,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know many people who haven't gotten some kind of ick from the world at large right now.
I know.
I think I'm on number 2 for the season.
You're number 2?
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had to go number 2 yet, so thank God.
The whole season?
Aaron. I take shit.
Drop
Steve.
it like it's hot, buddy.
Dude, every morning. I am good. It's not like I don't poop.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm
glad.
glad.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, joking aside, I'm very glad that you're regular.
Yeah, no, it was just this feeling. Anyway, enough of that. I feel better now. It's like before the show, I was just like, oh, I hope I can get the energy. And as soon as I got behind the mic, I started to feel better. So I think this, but see, that's what this stuff does. It makes you feel better, no matter what.
Yeah.
It gets your mind away from like whatever is troubling you. Yes, and I said troubling. Yes. Yeah, good applause for that. Anyway, you know what? Blackout. I just want to plug that real quick.
Yeah.
So our audio series, Steve, is ready. It's ready.
All right.
Okay, so on March 1st and 2nd, we decided we're going to start releasing these episodes of Blackout. We've got 10 episodes in the series. It will be released on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and a bunch of other podcast platforms.
Whatever where you get your podcasts.
Correct. And these are great. So you've got 10 episodes from like 10 minutes to 18 minutes long each one roughly. And it tells the story, man. And the actors did great. I think the sound design sounds fucking fantastic. It's just a fun... I don't know how to describe this thing. See, this is why we need to talk to our guest today, how to market something you've never done before. Right?
Let me give it one quick shot.
Okay, go.
In trailer voice. Hold on.
Okay, do it.
If you ever wondered what it would be like to be a deaf man going through an 80s action movie, Blackout.
That's pretty good. I like it.
Anyway, I should say blind. I'm sorry. See, I fucked it up. Already.
No, you're
blind. A blind man going through an 80s action film.
I'm just super excited for it, man. This whole format, and you know me in radio, I just like listening to stuff. I like hearing it. I didn't realize how much of a, fan I was of that stuff until we started doing this, and then my brain just went and went all the way back to when I was a kid listening to little 45s. It's just...
See, and Aaron already knows this, but I'm half deaf, but I love audio drama. Yeah. And I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, good. Thank you for listening too, by the way, because I needed your guys' opinions on it. If I'm just an idiot and I think everything
I grew up on The
great,
Shadow and
okay, yeah.
I'm not 94. I mean, it's been around for a really long time. Right. But I remember listening to like the Star Wars. Star Wars had a few of them too.
Yeah. It's fun, all the sound effects and all that cool shit. You hear it all. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for it. So March 1st and 2nd, people, it'll be out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast.
Blackout.
Got 2 hours and 11 minutes of story for you to listen to, and it's fun. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Our guest today. You ready to talk to somebody who's got some knowledge for us, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to try to make him nervous and be like, okay, dude, this guy's so smart. He knows so much about this industry. He's going to teach us all something new. But he's probably not going to be nervous, so it's no big deal. No, because he knows what he's doing. Anyway, we've got C. Scott. I think his last name's Votaw. I didn't ask him how to say his last name.
We should have
asked him that. Either way, let's get him in here. You ready to do the show, Steve?
Absolutely. Let's roll.
Welcome to Around the Reel. Your host, Aaron Carlson, Steve Eaton, and Samantha Hanna. Ah, shit. Here we go again.
All right. We are here. Scott.
Aaron, Scott. Steve, how you doing?
We are good.
Party every minute, my friend.
Oh, good. Well, where's my cocktail?
It's an audio party.
That is weird. Yeah. I usually do drink. I got water today.
Dude, I'm going
That's
coffee today.
Weird.
What did I do wrong?
I always have a drink on the show, so I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
I didn't feel good, so I don't know.
Oh,
I really thought I was going to be interviewed by Samantha. I don't know what. No,
she should. She usually is on the show as well, my friend, but she's doing some stuff today too, so she's not available. And we have our other guy who's Kelvin. He's our other associate producer as well as our composer and sound designer. He usually is on the show as well. But Steve and I are always usually here, so it's always
we
us.
try.
Yeah, always us. Someone's gonna be here. If we have a guest, we've got enough hosts to host a show. So.
It'd be hard to be a guest without a host. So
that's true.
That would be difficult. I think they call it monologuing.
That'd be like you last week when you showed up early for the show, right?
I was telling Aaron before we came on, but I thought it was last week, and I sat in the lobby for 30 minutes, going like, "What the?" I'm here.
It's a psychological experiment. The first 30 minutes of the show are just people going, "Why am I here? Why are any of us?"
Good footage.
It's actually
choice. Anyway, but thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you, Scott. So, well, let's just get into it, man. So, tell us a little bit about what Scott does and how and why you're on this show today.
Wow. So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I kind of grew up here in the South and never really got into film and television, but just kind of always had a bug. I always thought I'd be good at it. I was studied music and theater and had done that for quite a few years. So I just packed my car and drove to California and worked my way from the bottom, sweeping stages at Raleigh Studios, just getting wherever jobs I could get, film fair, doing a lot of commercials, commercial work and things like that. Worked my way, up in the industry. Now I've had a really crazy journey because I'm back in Georgia and I'm an assistant vice chancellor for the university system of Georgia. And I'm over the Georgia Film Academy here, which we train young filmmakers here in Georgia for all of our partner institutions, the university system and technical college system of Georgia.
Very nice.
Now, being that Atlanta has become such a hub of filmmaking, arguably or maybe not arguably more so than LA at this point. I really want to hear about you being a vice chancellor, but do you get to do any film work anymore really besides teaching?
No, that's hard, dude. I'm kidding. I kind of gave that up a few years ago.
Fair enough.
It's my job now is very different. It's managing, it's upper level, creating a lot of curriculum, interfacing because we have partnerships not only with unions, with IATSE 479 and 491 in the area, but we also work closely with Disney and Netflix and Marvel and NBC Universal and Paramount Plus. We put students on their shows when they're shooting here in Georgia.
Oh, nice. Badass, dude. That's great, dude. Okay. All right. So you're working with major studios and you're supplying them talent and getting these students an opportunity to do some stuff that they probably dreamed about.
Yeah, we're the only state that has a contract with the unions to put students on covered craft internships right on set under the mentorship of a real, a union professional working on, Infinity Wars or, a lot of the big movies that are here in town. It's really been great for the student. They intern, they spend a month on set with the union's, workforce. And then they usually get pulled in if they're good, and most of them are good by the time they get to that point.
Right. Okay, so let's backtrack a minute. How did you get involved in the educational part of your career like this?
Well, I had kind of semi-retired from film after 25 years and moved back to Georgia. Actually, my dad had been ill for quite a few years, and I thought, well, maybe I'll come back, spend a little time with my family, and I got a chance to do some work for a local school district, which kind of snowballed into, creating curriculum for high schools, which then turned into an opportunity to create all the curriculum in film and television production for the technical college system of Georgia. And from there, I got recognized by a representative from the governor's office when they started the Georgia Film Academy, which is a collaboration of the university system and the technical college system here in Georgia. And they asked me to come and bring all that expertise that I'd already developed over the last 5-6 years. And now I've been doing that. We're almost 10 years old now. This next year, the Georgia Film Academy will be 10 years old. And it's amazing. It's an amazing group of people. It's like 60 industry professionals that all come together and work with students and build curriculum and oversee all the academic functions that we do. I think we actually have like 1,000 years worth of industry expertise represented in the Film Academy in our instructors and leadership.
Wow,
So it's
man.
pretty impressive. We don't hire like college professors. We hire industry professionals.
People
And
who've
they're
done the
ones-
work and have been
Yeah,
out there doing it.
they're the
Okay.
ones that have done it for 10, usually 15, 20, 30 years. I have a DP here in Georgia. Brian Gunter's 32 years a DP. I mean, the guy's amazing, and he works with the students, and they love him.
Wow, dude. Okay, that's fucking great. Are these lucky ass kids nowadays, Steve? You know what I'm saying?
I didn't have that, right, Aaron?
I didn't
mean,
have no.
Jeez.
Not a damn thing when I started doing this crap. I didn't know what the hell I was doing other than just watching movies and trying to learn what I saw on the screen and try to mimic some of the things I
Yeah.
was witnessing. That's all I had. And then, YouTube fucking finally dropped. And then you could finally get some people like sharing their information and how they do stuff. Tutorials were my night and day. I watched them all the time. And that was my film school.
It's a real different world now. I mean, the opportunity for young people, young creatives is great.
Mhm.
We really focus on teaching the craft of filmmaking. So if I was wearing a T-shirt, it would be, I'm not teaching you how to make a movie. I'm teaching you how movies are made.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's one you can monetize and the other you really can't. And a lot of our universities around the United States, they train a lot of theory and they teach students, how to make a movie, but they don't teach them how a movie is made. Part of it is craft. It's a creative craft, and part of it is business.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what was really lacking. And, when the governor created this, the governor in the state of Georgia created this, and the legislature came through and funded it, they really saw that need to bridge the gap between that theoretical educational experience that the students have had and then finding that workforce component that allowed them to go to the industry and be successstart
So it's not a literary study version of film, so to speak. Yeah, you're not learning about.
It's just an experiential. We have three main tracks. We do film production, and so you do the fundamentals of film. That's everybody has to take that, and it's all the jobs on a set, what they do, why they do what they do, how they work together, what's the hierarchy, chain of command, communication, all the stuff that goes on set. And then we have a post-production track, and we do, we work with Avid really closely. So we do Media Composer and Pro Tools, and we're doing a new visual effects track right now that's going to spin up next year, which is going to be it's high demand. Everybody wants to know about the visual effects. And then we also do a live streaming and like a live event esports track, which is kind of like the modern broadcast.
Okay.
So it's to get students ready for alternate types of entertainment that's going on right now. And that's a huge growth area. But people don't know. It's a little bit different than working on a film, but it's really close. And we find that if we give the kids a real solid core, a core knowledge, then all we have to do is teach them the applicable skill that lets them go to work in different sectors.
Right. Got it. Okay. Man. You know what I was thinking about a second ago when you brought something up, and I can't remember what the fuck it was now. God damn it. I always forget that. I hate that when that happens. But it was I always do. Anyway, okay, so you've got this school and you're doing these things for these students and you're making this industry down there in Georgia kind of flourish. You're a big part of the success, I would say, then as this Georgia film.
Yeah, in 10 years,
become.
I mean, Georgia has exploded.
Yeah, exactly. So
there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, the tax credit, the airport, we've got a great place to shoot. There's tons of great locations. We have an amazing crew here. There's a lot of reasons that went into it. We're part of it, and we were honored to be part of it. It was the way to get the workforce expanded quickly as industry wanted to come in. So
right. I remember what I was going to say. It was about Georgia. Why did Georgia decide that, focusing on the film industry the way they did? Do you have any idea what made them do it? Because there's other states, like our state, we suck. We suck up here. There is shit up here. We can't do anything to get any incentives or nothing. And
I mean,
it's
we'd
a
like to think
beautiful
that tax
place.
credits aren't the primary reason why movies get made where they're made, but
Yeah, but
also
why?
realists.
Exactly.
Okay, so
it's such a beautiful area. Why don't they film up here?
We're going to separate the business from the creative in a second. So really, people, right now you see globally, they're going to go shoot where it makes the most sense financially. Now, granted, if the script is about London, it's really hard to duplicate that in New York. right? I mean, that's just a reality, or Wisconsin or Georgia or anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But if, based on what the story is, if it's an Americana kind of a story that's got some flexibility, plus we have things that look a lot like Savannah, Georgia looks just like, Europe or, New Orleans. And it's a beautiful, beautiful city.
Sure.
It's definitely a destination for film. But people look at the business. They go, how much money can I save? We have a good incentive. It's an incentivized business globally.
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
So you can't throw that out. It's not the only reason, but it is an important reason. And believe me, the accountants, and I've done a lot of, unit production managing and line producing on movies, you watch the dollars and everything matters. And when you're going through for the business model and you're trying to make sure you can get a really good product at a really good price, right? You look at all the options you have and you pick the best one that works for your movie to get the biggest, bang for the buck on the screen, as well as, not go over budget, because that's death, in a business model, is to go over budget.
So do you think that Georgia, the government down there, just decided that, hey, this is a lucrative business to bring money and value to our state? Did they just think that way? And
it started with Jimmy Carter, believe it or not. He, I was at the Presidential Library for an event, and there's a whole section in the Presidential Library about how he wanted to bring film here. And it might have been, I want to say, Deliverance. It might have started that, that thing like, oh, wow, how cool is this? We'd like to bring more. And then Heat of the Night, and there's all these shows that kept coming in. And, Georgia this is the 11th year Georgia's been picked as the #1 state to do business in the United States.
Yeah.
So we are business minded. Our government is business minded. And I see our legislature, both Republican and Democrat, really work together to build up that economic side of Georgia.
And it's just become of such scale that it's an easier argument.
Well, everybody understands it now. And what's the benefit for the Georgian? What's the workforce? And that's why when we started this workforce initiative, it never been done before anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it, and we are, not, don't want to be like tap myself on the back, but a lot of people have worked hard to get us to where we are today. It's not a single person. There's no one person that's made this happen. But we are the gold standard for workforce training for film and television. There's nobody that's done what the state of Georgia has done.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see the future for these young kids. I have some that started at the beginning. Now they're keys. And they're not only hiring GFA graduates, but they're putting interns on their movies. And it's like, now we got like 3 generations almost of students coming out of school that are now working, and they know each other. Actually, they'll say, we'd prefer a GFA or a Georgia Film Academy student over somebody just coming in raw. Because they already have the basics. They already have work ethic. They already understand protocol, chain of command, all those really essential things that make you valuable to the production company. You're not going to cost them money.
Right. So you guys have built this relationship with these studios already, and now your students benefit from the work you've done.
Well, and the studios benefit, because it meets their workforce programs that they each individually have. I mean, NBC Universal, we work closely with their workforce division and to make sure that, we give everybody an opportunity here. And the way we did it was kind of unique. Because it's public education, anybody in the state of Georgia can take these courses. So if you're low income, for example, and you're what we call Pell and Hope, so there's 2 different kinds of scholarships, it pretty much is free to come and take our courses, which is, if you go to a private institution,
it's amazing.
$60,000 to $80,000 a year, and not putting anybody else down for what they do. We made it affordable for everybody.
That's cool, man.
And so we're very diverse just because we offer it at such a low cost, and it is subsidized by the taxpayer, and it's been just massively successful. We've trained over 13,000 students in classes, and we have well over 2,000 students that are working in the industry here.
Wow, dude. All right.
That's fantastic.
Dude, you must sleep very well at night, Scott.
No, I don't, because there's always tomorrow, and I'm always thinking about what's the next thing we got to do, and where do we have to go, or but there's a technical issue, with the computer lab. There's always something. Right?
I know, but if you took a step back from all that, and you know what you're helping, achieve and build for so many dreamers, so many people that probably have everybody else in their life telling them that, oh, good, you're going to be an actor. Fuck you, get out of here. You're going to be a filmmaker. Oh, you're an idiot. And then you guys come around and you can give somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, who's got this dream and they've been watching cartoons their whole life and want to make cartoons or want to do this movie or want to be that guy. They want to be that Will Smith or that Robert De Niro guy or somebody, and then here you guys are trying to help them out. And they get this chance. That's got to feel good. I know I feel good when I give somebody a role and they're like, oh, Aaron, thank you for giving me this role. I feel great about it. I'm like, oh, man, you're welcome, dude. You know what I mean? How do you feel?
It is a good feeling. It's why at my age, I'm still working and I'm still going, and there's things to do. And I remember I had actually retired a few years back and said, okay, I've had enough. And then they wanted me to come back and expand this role and take it to the next level. And I talked to my wife, and basically it was like, there's some unfinished business. So there's some things to do. There's some things we can do to make it better. So I'll come back and I'll do it for a while. But
I think people are built for that. We're built more for purpose than we are for rest.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. But there's a lot of hardworking people at the Film Academy. I mean, I get to be here with you today, and that's fun. But, there's another 59 or 62, I can't remember what exact number is right now, but they're out there day and day. They're in the trenches. They're doing the crap jobs, and all the academic stuff that has to happen to align with SAC COC and accreditation and everything that has to happen to grease those kind of wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the people boots on the ground with the students, teaching them the crafts. They work hard. They put in a lot of extra time. And, for me, though, I got to say, it's a little bit of redemption, if I can regress for a second. I was not a good student. Okay. So, Steve, I see you already smiling and laughing.
A film person who was not a fantastic student. An absolute shocker.
I struggled. I told Aaron, I said, because now I'm an assistant vice chancellor, which is an amazing honor that they gave me.
It's a cool title, too.
At the Board of Regents. And because I never planned to be a career academic, right? That was never anything that I thought I wanted to do. Actually, I remember telling my dean of the fine arts department at University of Montevallo, where I went to school, that it'd be a cold day in hell that I would ever work in education. I remember that, telling him that. So it's a shame he's passed on. But I definitely had some high school teachers that are probably turning over in their grave knowing that I'm an assistant vice chancellor anywhere, doing anything in education. But it's been great because I was always told you're lazy, you just daydream, you're ADD, so, you're never going to accomplish anything in your life. I was mildly dyslexic, so I had trouble getting up in front of people and speaking or reading. And, I was not good. And so I always acted out, was a class clown, right? Because that's what you do when you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
But there were a few teachers along the way that didn't give up on me. You know what I mean? There was just those select few that said, no, you're going to make it. You're going to encourage you, that push you forward. And finally the light comes on and you do well. And then you see where you are now. That's the message I really would want to tell the students. Just do it. Just get out and do it. Don't worry what anybody tells you. My parents were very supportive, but they had no clue what I wanted to do. They had none. My dad was like, yeah, well, if you want to get in your car and drive to California, okay.
Yeah.
Don't call me for gas when you want to come home. You got to figure it out yourself, right? So,
and that's best for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people don't do well with, my son's that way. I was that way. My dad was that way, where you're like, the more supervision and pushing that somebody does, there's that rankling against it that, you're like, well, let's let them swim and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I may have this wrong because I'm not the greatest historian, but wasn't it Cortez that burned his ships when they got to the New World or something like that, or South America? And they said, okay, well, we're here. We're going to make it. You kind of take away your exit strategy, and then it's a bigger motivator to
go
be successful. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. It's really fun that it's come full circle. So going back to what you're saying, it does feel good. But there's, I did it for a lot of reasons. I love Georgia. Georgia's a great place to live. The people are good. The cost of living is great. And it treated me really well. So to see it boom and do well, and we have a lot of infrastructure built here now. We have about as many sound stages, I think, as California. it's just it's amazing to see how it has transformed the creative economy here in Georgia.
Right. Yeah, man. Did you why did you leave LA? You said you moved there. You lived there for what, 20 some years? You said.
Yeah, I was there about 25 years. I worked all over the globe, but I had lived there. You know what? That's a long story. I was working on a show for Fox My Network, and it was 52 episodes of some telenovela ripoff. I can't even remember what it was right now. And we were shooting like, oh my gosh, crazy page counts, and working. I just kind of burned out. I went, okay, after this many years, is this where the industry's headed? I didn't really want to work in reality TV because that's what sprung up after the first writer's strike was reality TV. It's not really, I didn't enjoy it. It's still too run and gun. I liked very structured, organized, because, I was a budget guy, schedule guy. That's what I did. I came up through the AD ranks.
Okay.
And so I really liked the organization side of it. So to be, it felt a little run and gun to me to do the reality show. I didn't enjoy it. And I just kind of got burned out. So with, my dad getting pretty sick, I just decided, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to semi-retire. I'm going to move back to Georgia and hang out for a little while and then figure out what I want to do. I've had a lot of people call me and say, hey, you want to produce a movie? Or I've got a movie. Would you like to direct? You want to do this? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know that I'm as relevant as I was 20 years ago. Oh. So that's part of it too.
Within that one specific realm.
Well, I did a lot of cartoon work. I did animated feature. I did direct-to-video stuff, and it's changed a lot. The kids' taste changed a lot. I was lead writer for 52 episodes out of TF1 Paris for a kids show, and I did a lot of great stuff. I mean, I had a really cool career, but maybe that was my timing. It's like I did that prepared me for the next thing, and then this prepared me for the next. If you go back and reflect, and it's been a lot of years now that I've been doing this, 30 some years probably. If you count my live entertainment days, I started playing in a bar when I was 16. I lied about my age. I was playing guitar and singing in a bar on Friday and Saturday night. If I go back to there, I mean, what is that? I mean, I've got 40 years in entertainment. It's a long time.
It is a long time. I just wonder, like, if since you were a entertainer and a creator, do you think now if you did try to do another project for yourself, like a film, out of all the education that you've seen and helped get other people, I know you picked up on some new stuff, right? Don't you want to try to apply that with your own creativity and your talents?
There's a part of me that wants to. I was talking to that my friend, it's the DP that's been here a long time, Brian Gunter.
Yeah.
And he's going, with all this new technology out and all the new lighting and all the stuff, he said, boy, it'd be fun to go do another movie and play with it. Yeah. And then you go, oh, fuck, 16-hour days. Yeah,
There it is.
I don't know. I'm getting too old for that nonsense, getting up in the morning. But yeah, I might, if I found the right piece, I might want to do something. I think I'm using my creativity now on how to reach students. I'm using my creativity to how to get the message out.
Right.
And Aaron, you and I talked before. My big message, I think, is the business of entertainment.
Yes.
Most colleges are really good at teaching the theory, teaching the basics of where the films come from, the history, the critique of films, all of that kind of stuff, and then maybe even making a short film. But I think where we fall really short is helping the students know how to monetize those creative skills they acquired in college and where the jobs are.
Right. Yeah. Right.
There's a lot
that is so specific to location. So.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, how many electricians are there on a big movie? Like on some of the Marvel movies, there's got like 200-300 and all the different, advanced crews and wrap crews and rigging and, then on set, all the different stuff that's going on. There's a lot of people working, but there's only one director. There's usually one or two writers and then a couple of producers. Most of the guys that get producing credit really aren't the producers, right? I mean, they get the credit, but the guys that do the work of a producer, day in and day out are on the set, really hands-on, making that project go through. There's just a few of those. And, it's like 1 in 10,000 chance you're going to get a job at one of those places. But you could share your creativity as an art director, or as a set designer, or as a set deck, props person, costuming, makeup, even a lighting and grip. It's a creative craft. You have to be really creative to make what looks good on the screen. And everybody works together for that vision of that one director and that one DP.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize it's a creative process. And I think that's part of my, what I really want to show is where the jobs are. That's we're working on an animated piece right now that we may put out about where are the jobs in entertainment industry. And it'll be something that we could share all the way down to maybe even the middle school, but kind of reach them in a fun, stylized format.
Right. There you go.
Board thing. So anyway, it's really about getting them realizing where the work is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's the part. Instead of everybody coming out of college wants to be the director, writer, producer. They don't even understand where all the work is. I swept stages when I started. And it took a long time for me to direct my first thing, or it took me a long time before I was given the ability to write something. It was a long time. But I had to start somewhere, and everything I did really taught me. It taught me the craft of film production and filmmaking. And then when I got to the creative side, I knew my craft really, really well.
Right. I'm curious for this audience that we have. I know a majority of the people that listen to this show are indie filmmakers. All right, they're the indie level. They're either zero budget films, some of them up to 300,000. We know a few people who've had $1 million budgets, but it's still pretty low, right? And a lot of people are always concerned about their return and how they get that return on their investment. If they've got people to pay back, and that's the part where some of these successful indie filmmakers that we know that we've actually learned from and they've learned from us. That's kind of what we try to accomplish, right? We always try to keep our budgets low if we even have one, so that anything we make later is all profit, and we just keep making a lot of movies that are small. We don't we don't put all our eggs in one basket kind of thing. So I'm curious, at the academy, are you going to be focusing more on teaching students how to find work in the industry, the Hollywood industry, or are you going to be helping out indie filmmakers too with their own projects?
We do have a supported thesis class that we teach. And what that is, it's undergraduate students that are working with MFA students that are putting together their thesis film for their MFA projects. And they get to work with a real crew, with real equipment, on a sound stage, with the trucks, everything that you need to produce. And they're not used to that. I mean, they've made stuff with their buddies on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
It's helping them understand the transition of, if you want to work on the big stuff, you need to know the craft of making a movie. The other part is, and we have a division called Georgia Film Academy Professional Ed Division, Professional Education, where it's not for credit, but we just teach seminars and classes, and we're building some things in the business of entertainment right now. There's a lot of facets. First, teaching venture capital people what they should and shouldn't do. I get all the time, somebody goes, "Hey, will you read my script? And see if this is a good movie for us to be involved in." And I'm like, "Well, where's the business plan?"
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they can't ever show me the business plan.
No, that's no fun.
They want to show me the script. And I'm going, I said, pardon me, but I don't care about the script yet.
Mm-hmm.
Show me how you're going to make money. What's your breakdown? And to say, "Oh, we're just going to make it and sell it at a film festival." Well, what's happened to the film festival.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so diluted by every Tom, Dick, and Harry putting up their own film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
That, there's very few really meaningful festivals like South by Southwest, or, that you still can go to and, display your film. I got to go to I was speaking at the Venice Film Festival a couple of years ago about what we do here, workforce-wise, to a lot of European producers.
Yep.
And Eva DuVernay, I don't know if you know who she is. She's an African-American director. She's amazing. She took the book, I'm gonna blank on it right now. It was called something of Our Discontent. Anyway, I saw her movie in Venice.
Mm-hmm.
Origins. It's called Origins. Is her movie, and the book is Origins of Our Discontent. Amazing movie. She cast really well. She shot in Savannah. Some of it she shot over in Europe. and she actually screened it there and sold it there at the
Wow.
Venice Film Festival. But that's not a normal
No,
way
it's not.
that you take a big show. But for her, it worked. She was the first African American woman to ever screen a movie at the Venice Film Festival, which I thought was amazing.
That's badass.
And I got to be there, and the fact that it was shot in Georgia was kind of fun for me. I really enjoyed that evening. But it's to say you got to know the business of what you're doing. There's many pieces to it. You have your development, you have to develop your project, you get it forward, you have to attach actors, or is it pay or play? Do you have any skin in the game yourself? Did you raise development money or did you use your own money? And then, where you're going to sell it? Have you got an international contract? If you have a contract to sell it internationally because you have certain talent attached, then you can bank that.
Right.
You can actually get a loan from a bank on that contract, a percentage of that. And if you're going to get a tax credit, you're going to get 30% of your direct spend in Georgia. You can borrow money on that.
Mm-hmm.
So you build all those things into your business model. Now, if it's a smaller budget or micro budget, it's a little bit different. But you can still go out and find, distribution. I've got a friend that he makes these little, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 films. He does about 10 a year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He ends up making enough money that he can live off that.
Yep.
Right. But he has a business model. He has a distribution deal. He doesn't
It's
just
money forward first.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got to know the business side. And I think that's, if anything creatives need today, is to understand the business. And then now with streaming and these really cool platforms that are coming up, marketing that is really more content creation.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's got a movie, let's say, and it's coming out in 6 weeks. Well, they may have a prequel that tells the story that leads up to this movie that would maybe explain it better, get more people interested. And they put that out in these 2-minute little social media clips over 6 weeks leading up to the distribution of that film. There's all kinds of cool ideas now that were never there before. And a lot of these young kids are much smarter than I am to figure that stuff out.
Right. Me too.
So I think we're going to see an uptick in that. But I really encourage, really understand social media marketing. You gotta have to be a jack of all trades when it comes to it. But it's not just creative. It's business.
I agree 100%. We talk a lot about that on our program here, and anybody we work with. Now, that business side is something that we see everybody lacking. They don't think about anything past making the movie, and then the movie's there, and then they come to us and they're like, how did you guys get so many views on this? It's like, because we've been working on marketing for fucking 7-8 years straight. That's why we've built our brand. We've built our base fans. We've got people that know who we are. That didn't just happen. We didn't go trending on one fucking video. We worked our asses
And
off.
it's a job by itself, but if you don't
It
do it,
is.
nobody's going to watch it.
Well,
No
that's
one's gonna
right.
see it.
And people think, oh, I made it. I did the hard part is making it. No. Takashi Dozier, who is a young up and coming director here in Atlanta, he told me, he says, I've got to work 10 months out of the year so I can do what I love for 2. Right? That's so
true.
powerful. That's the message we need to get out.
That's exactly right.
You can get anybody to give you $50,000 one time, but to get it back over and over and over again so you can keep doing it, then it's just a hobby at that point. It's
It
not
is.
business. But the old guys did it this way. I mean, are you a horror fan at all, Steve or Aaron?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we tend to like horror once in a while,
Okay.
don't we, Steve?
So if you look at Roger Corman or Fred Olen Ray or Jim Wynorski, any of those guys, and I worked with some of them on some of their horror movies. That's how I cut my teeth as an AD.
Oh, okay.
They had a business model.
Yeah.
Fred Olen Ray had a business model. And, if I make it for this much money that has this kind of people in it and I can get this distribution, I can bank that, boom, boom, I got a funding person, I make it. And then he sometimes would go write the script himself
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to fit what that model needed and what he had access to. Like El Mariachi, that guy had he had a motorcycle, a bus, and some friends in Mexico.
And $7,000, I think. Yeah.
So he wrote something that he could utilize what he had. I think young
Yes.
creatives could be more like that, be, a little entrepreneurial in their thinking, not just creative. Use what you've got, use what you have access to. Ask all your friends, what do you have? And then build something around it
Absolutely.
that you can actually execute to show your skill as a creative.
Absolutely, buddy. I couldn't agree more. Look at you preaching, Scott. I love it.
I'll
It's
pass
a big
on the
deal.
plate later. Well, it is the South, you know.
Well, and it's really tricky because the industry, I mean, like the Marvels of the world, the multiple major companies Disney owns, for example, they become the companies that are really in the space. Everything besides that has shrunken. It seems like everything that isn't a large budget, say above, probably 100. When it used to be 50 years ago, that mid-budget was everything, and it's interesting to really see it to where that, just like everything else, the distribution is just kind of stretched to where now what would have been a $2 million movie 20 years ago is now made for $100,000 on an iPhone or whatever it is.
Right.
It's great to see that you're teaching to the larger model. But yeah, it's tricky to see it if you're not in a space like there or in Canada or New Mexico or I can't even put it in California anymore with all the friends I hear complaining. It's really tricky. You have to be location specific to make anything of scale.
It's going to shift. I mean, this industry
That always does.
Up and down, and you're in favor. I mean, Toronto's back in favor, but for a while they were out of favor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, now everybody wants to go to London. Well, that gets old pretty quick. And, if you got to shoot Americana, you can't do it in London. There's a lot of things we have to work out, I think, in our industry to figure it out. Some of the labor costs are pretty high right now in America. They don't have some of those problems internationally. Incentivization, there's talks. I heard, I don't even know if this is real or not, but like a reverse tariff for taking things out of the country. Who knows what's going to happen? It just knows something will happen.
Yeah.
And we have to, I think we need to get back to the core, that Hollywood's kind of lost its core. We were always entertainment driven. And now we kind of gotten to be this social change mechanism. And, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing to want to make sure that those things are out in the public, when we think about fairness. But people want to be entertained, and I think we've lost a lot of international clout and so what's happening is they're developing their own content internationally because they can't.
It's better than ours. For the most
It is
part.
better.
I'll tell you, in Asia, it's big. Netflix is investing, half of their resources in Asia, like in Bangkok, where I have a house in Koh Samui. If you're in Bangkok area, Netflix is, doing a lot of work with local writers, directors, photographers, talent. They're creating local content that is really that specific, culturally, sensitive.
Relevant.
Yeah, that's right. Relevant's probably a better term. And they do a lot of it. And, my wife is originally from Thailand, grew up in Amsterdam. She prefers that over now she'll watch a Marvel movie with me, right?
Sure.
But she loves that Thai content. It's a little corny for me. And it's kind of, or their soap opera. They have soap
The
operas.
Korean dramas, bless them. They're amazing. Yeah.
They're really good. And the stuff, I mean, I was just watching a few things. The Atlanta Jewish Film Festival, they've got some amazing films. They're just everywhere is now in the game. So that with the distribution you talked about, Steve, I think it's all contributing. There's a lot of pieces to it.
Yeah.
And it gives the chance for the young independent storyteller that can tell a good story to get out and to showcase himself and get some, a bigger piece of that distribution pie.
Couldn't agree more, man.
Well said.
I love the business side of stuff the way you were talking about it a lot, and I've come to terms with it myself now. I always thought the business side would be how do we make our movies make money and do this and that, and kind of learn that way. But now I've kind of shifted too, where there's another road I took where I'm like, holy shit, I have skills.
Right.
I can edit, I can color grade, I know how to do sound design, I know all these things. Maybe I could make money with these skills. And everybody thinks that, when you're making a movie, who aren't in filmmaking, you're just fucking around and playing, right? But it's no different than someone who goes to school to learn how to be an accountant or an electrician or whatever, because you've learned a skill set, right? And you've got the skill set, and if you're good at your skill set, it's got value. So I've started to do that, where I can go out and I can find other filmmakers that need someone to edit their film. They made it. They need an editor. I can charge them money. I can make money editing their film for them, and I'm still making movies, and I'm still having fun because I'm doing what I love to do. That business side of me clicked this last year, and I've been doing that for almost a year now, and I quit my day job, right? That's a business side of things. You got to look at who you are, what you're doing, what skills you have, and be confident in the value you can bring somebody. It's no different than any other form of business. It's really not.
Everybody's going to need something. I mean, like, I tried my hand at editing. I was okay, but that's not my skill set, right?
Right.
And I love sound design. I had my own recording studio out in LA for a while, and we recorded a lot of albums, did a lot of soundtracks for animation, things like that. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that part of that. I could not work my way around Maya. If you just forget it. There was just no way. I couldn't do animation.
Okay.
The young guys that could do it, man, they were sharp. They were good.
Yeah.
But most jobs in Hollywood are not the generalist, right? They can do everything. They're very specialized. Yeah. And that's where you make your big money. If you want to make a couple $100,000 a year, you got to have a very, very specific skill the industry needs.
Correct. And if you have a skill like that, that's what you could focus on. And that would be something you can do. And if you want to be a filmmaker, you can still do that as well, right? You could still do this and that.
If you're a good businessman, right, and you don't spend every nickel you make when you're on a show, you can take a 2-month hiatus and go make your movie.
Goddamn.
And you know all the guys working, you can bring in all your friends. I mean, now you got a really high, you probably know all the vendors that rent you stuff.
Yeah.
And you can get deals for free, or they'll help you out, and production insurance. You can get all of that stuff. Go make your movie.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that do that.
I get it, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about, like, all the time now as an entrepreneur myself, where it's just you got to be creative, you got to think, you got to focus on the business side of things, and yet don't lose track of your creative loves. All of it matters. It all has to just come together. It's just. I get frustrated when I see people not understand that part of this.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for them, but god damn it, come on, guys.
It's, even when you're working in the big leagues, right? And you're still a freelance, basically a gig player, right?
Yeah,
you're just doing that gig. And my son's a dimmer tech, right? So he's a member of 479 here, the IATSE union. And he makes really good money, but he also owns equipment that he rents, and you know what I mean? He's a business person that also makes money on top of his salary. Does that make sense? So
it does.
I know guys that they bring their own truck full of electric gear, their own truck full of grip gear, their own set construction stuff, and they get paid money for that to bring that on the set. And that's a business, and you write stuff off, and now your car, your trailer, your gas, everything is a write-off, because that's why teaching them the business is more than just how to finance a film.
Exactly.
This industry, you are an independent businessman.
It's beautiful. He says it better than I could ever say it on the show. So thank you, Scott, for breaking this down for us.
No, it's really, that's what I show. It's super, and I appreciate the platform to talk to young creatives, because I'm not one.
Yeah, me neither.
We're with you, Scott.
Bullshit. No, I know, but you would guess how. Scott told me how old he was. I was like, holy shit, dude, he does not look that old at all. You're a badass, dude. You're a badass. He goes to the gym every day too, Steve. How you like that?
Dude, 6 days a week.
You can go to hell.
Yeah. Probably do that.
That was for Aaron. Sorry, that was not for you, Scott. That was for Aaron.
Oh, okay.
I know I give him shit all the time because I try to talk shit because I go to the gym. So
he just wants to arm wrestle me one of these days.
Just one day. Dude, you probably beat me too.
Put him down. Show him.
I'll do the Stallone on you though, bro. I'll do over the top. I don't give a shit.
I cheat. That's fine. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Scott, about the academy stuff for your students. It's a year-long thing? Does it go like quarters like any other university? How's that all work?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. So we have 18 credit hours certification. So the Georgia Film Academy certification in those sectors I talked about. So you take the core fundamental class, and then you go into grip and rigging, you go in electrical lighting, you go in set construction, you go in set design, you go in special makeup effects. You different areas. Okay. And you take several classes, but you get your degree from your home institution. So what they do is they take that 18 credit hours and embed it into 2-year and 4-year degree programs in comms and film and theater, wherever it fits, right, at their home institution. We have 31 partner institutions around the state, universities, technical colleges. We have some private institutions that we work with, Clark Atlanta, which is a HBCU here. We're in the process, we work with Emmanuel College as well. And we're in talks with like Morehouse and Spelman. So we want to open this up to every student in Georgia that would like to be part of it. And with the technical college system, there's 22 technical colleges and 26 universities in the state of Georgia. And all of them can be part. We have 31 that are part.
Okay.
And they send students to us. We teach 16-week semester-long class, 1 day a week, 6 to 8 hours a day. So they get a real feel for what it's going to be like on set. They put in a long day, and then they go and do an internship. So the final course they take with us is the internship, and it is highly competitive. And then they have to go interview. So once they hit that internship part, Disney will say, well, we want 5 students on Moana that's going to be filming down at Trilla Studios. And they have to interview. And so the students go out, they interview, they get picked up by the department heads, and they get to work in that department. Disney runs them for the run of the show. Normally we do 4 weeks. They have to do a minimum of 4 weeks to get credit. And there's other things they do. They have some classwork to do. They have a journal they do. They report back in. But Disney puts them on for the run of the show now. And they get to work the entire show, and Disney pays for it. So it's an amazing
interesting model.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been so life-changing for some of these young people, but we're getting folks in their 40s that are coming back in retraining, or guys out of the military or girls out of the military that are coming in, and they're great. The film industry loves those guys because they're regimented. They know chain of command, they know how to communicate, and love it. It's just that you don't wear a uniform anymore. You wear shorts and Birkenstocks and a Hawaiian shirt. Right? So, it's a little bit different, but yeah, it's the same kind of a familial group that you come together because you work on a movie. You make, it's like family.
Absolutely.
So we do that, and the students come in, and that's very successful. But it's not for everybody, and some students, we don't make it all the way through the program. But that's the purpose, because our industry really, really picks the best and the brightest, the top, and we just give them that training and that ability to be successful, and then they just take it from there. And the students, they just rock it. They come out of the program. But even if they go into something else like esports or broadcast or live streaming or live events, those skills they learn still apply to all those other areas. So we help them get jobs in other areas, in other entertainment and content creation areas.
Beautiful.
That's wonderful.
It's fantastic, man.
Well, thank you for doing it, Scott, for all the people that work for you and for the films that get made. That's really wonderful.
Yeah. One more question here. I was just thinking, for people that live like outside of Georgia, let's say I wanted to go to the academy. Is there a campus? Is it like a normal college kind of environment, or is it something where I have to be a resident of Georgia and then I can go?
So Steve said you couldn't go, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I figured he wouldn't. He won't let me go.
Yeah, he sent me that text before.
That son of a bitch.
I meant it.
Fine. I still got YouTube, fucker.
We do have a professional ed division where you can come in and take the exact same courses as if you're in school. It's a little bit more expensive. It's not for credit, but you can do it that way. The way a lot of students do it is they come and just out-of-state student. They go to the college, one of our partner institutions, they join. If you go to our website, we have, and you fill out, the form, we have what's called Enrollment Navigator. It's automated. It uses like an AI chatbot as well as real people will call you, and they'll help figure out what do you want to do, where do you want to go, fit you with the best program in the state, and then do a soft handoff to you to that institution. So you can come here. You'd have to pay out-of-state tuition. But the mechanism is there with all of our colleges and technical colleges for anyone in the United States that would like to come and get training. But it is primarily a Georgia workforce initiative. So we don't actively pursue, but if somebody wants to come, there's mechanisms that they can come to us.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Scott. Want to make sure because people are hitting us up like, how do I go to that academy? I'm like, yeah, ask
On
Scott.
the
You get up to
website,
fucking-
it's all there. They can see everything they need, and they can get some help on how to sign up.
Beautiful, buddy. Beautiful. Man, good stuff, Scott. Yeah, thank you for sharing all this with
You're
us.
welcome, man. It's been fun sitting here talking to you. I can't believe we
It goes by
already
fast.
blasted through almost an hour, huh?
I know it goes by fast, man. It really does. I appreciate the knowledge that you're sharing with everybody and helping these kids out, and just the creative side of it, you know, and getting people to believe that there's a way that they can pursue, such a far-fetched dream.
That
of
movies
being-
are alive.
Yeah,
and they
that
will
movies
be
are alive.
alive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big deal, man. I think it's noble as fuck. I love it. I really do. I
Yeah.
really do. So congratulations,
I
man.
appreciate that. You know, it's like I think you and I talked before. We were just prepping. You know, if I can give one piece of advice, just go for it. Just freaking go for it. Don't worry about anything. You know, it's gonna all work out. If you give it your all, if you really put effort into it, if you try, if you don't give up, and you just keep pushing forward, don't worry what other people tell you. You know, I've had so many people tell me that I'll never make it.
Yeah,
So whatever.
yeah.
No, and I've failed. I've been fired. Yeah, I mean, I know what it's like, but you learn more out of failure than you do sometimes out of success.
Absolutely.
And you'll never. There's a Buddhist saying that you never hate the path that took you from where your beginning was until your wish fulfilled or your end, your dream. You can't hate that path regardless of what that path is or that bridge. It's just the path,
Yeah.
and only you can walk it. So there you go.
Come on. Love it.
We don't need to close out the show now.
I don't think so.
That was perfect.
I know that was a great way to plug it. All right, Scott, just plug the website for your academy and anything else you'd like to say, and we'll let you have your day.
GeorgiaFilmAcademy.com, and then we have a GeorgiaFilmAcademy.edu, and you can come there and find out everything you want from our professional ed to all our course offerings, and our, all the different things. We have summer camps. We work with high school teachers. We train high school teachers all around the state and send them back, with lesson plans and all that. So we know we're really involved in the whole state of Georgia. So if you ever want to do anything, just reach out. My direct contact information is on the website, and you are welcome to reach out to me. I'm available. I try to always be available, especially to a student that is struggling and trying to figure out what to do. And if I can't help you, I definitely can get you in touch with someone.
Beautiful, buddy. All right, Scott. We appreciate you being on the show today, my friend. Thank you for your
Truly.
time.
Thank you.
For
It's a
knowledge,
pleasure.
doing what you're doing, man. All right. Steve, thank you, brother.
Well, Scott has closed out with a beautiful gem of knowledge, better than I ever could. But I will always say to think hard, for you are thinking anyway.
God damn right you are. All right, everybody. We'll see you later.
For those of you that want to be a guest on Around the Reel, please email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
Not Messenger. Do not message Aaron on Messenger, because then he has to send you a message that says email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
How come they can't just message me again?
Because nobody wants to fucking talk to you.
Can anybody reach out? That's an artist, filmmaker, actor?
If you're an artist of any kind, we want to hear from you.
But we are going to vet the crap out of you.
We don't care if you make millions of dollars in Hollywood or if you're just beginning your career in the art industry. We don't care. So everybody that wants to be on Around the Reel, yes, we want you.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.